As the year draws to a close, many of us find ourselves reflecting on what we want to carry forward and what we need to leave behind. The truth is, your peace, growth, and happiness aren't just about adding more to your life. They're about removing the things that weigh you down. Sometimes, the loudest changes come from quiet eliminations. Letting go of what no longer serves you isn't about drama or announcements. It's about reclaiming your energy and focusing on what truly matters. Inspired by timeless wisdom and practical insight, today we'll explore 11 things you should quietly eliminate from your life before 2025. These aren't just suggestions, they're transformative steps that can clear your path, restore your peace, and help you step into the new year lighter, freer, and more focused. It's not about perfection, it's about progress. And the best part? These eliminations don't require fanfare. They're quiet, intentional acts of self-care and growth that will set you up for a year of clarity and purpose. So, let's dive into the small but powerful changes you can make to let go of the unnecessary and embrace what truly matters. 1. Toxic friendships that hurt your peace. Friendships are meant to uplift, support, and bring joy into your life. But not all friendships are created equal. Some are nurturing and positive, while others drain your energy, break your trust, and leave you questioning your worth. Toxic friendships often come disguised as relationships that once mattered, making them hard to let go of. But here's the truth: your peace is priceless, and no friendship is worth sacrificing it for. A toxic friendship doesn't always announce itself with dramatic fights or overt betrayal. It can manifest quietly, in subtle ways. A friend who constantly puts you down under the guise of jokes, someone who takes but never gives, or a relationship where trust is repeatedly broken. These patterns may seem small at first, but over time, they erode your confidence and happiness. Imagine confiding in a friend about a personal struggle, only to have them dismiss your feelings or share your story with others. Over time, this erodes the very foundation of trust that a friendship is built on. When this happens repeatedly, it's a sign that the relationship isn't serving you. And when a relationship no longer brings mutual respect or value, it's okay to let it go. The Stoics believed in the importance of guarding your inner peace. Epictetus reminds us, "The key is to keep company only with people who uplift you, whose presence calls forth your best." You are the sum of the people you spend the most time with, so choose carefully. Surround yourself with individuals who inspire you, challenge you positively, and celebrate your successes genuinely. Letting go of a toxic friendship doesn't require confrontation or drama. In fact, quiet detachment can be the most peaceful approach. Start by creating space. Spend less time engaging with that person and redirect your energy toward relationships that uplift you. This isn't about bitterness, it's about choosing your well-being. Here's a practical way to assess your friendships. Reflect on how you feel after spending time with someone. Do you feel energized, supported, and understood? Or do you feel drained, criticized, or insignificant? The answer will guide you toward the relationships worth nurturing and the ones that may need to fade. Take, for example, someone who constantly undermines your goals. Maybe you've decided to start a fitness journey, and instead of encouraging you, they make dismissive comments like, "You'll never stick with it." This negativity isn't just unhelpful, it's harmful. Quietly stepping away from this kind of energy allows you to focus on your growth without unnecessary resistance. Letting go of toxic friendships isn't easy, especially when there's history or emotional attachment. But remember, Choosing your peace isn't selfish, it's necessary. By creating space for positivity, you open the door to relationships that align with your values and contribute to your growth. The next time you question whether to keep a friendship, ask yourself, does this person add peace, positivity, or growth to my life? If the answer is no, it's time to let go, quietly, respectfully, and with the understanding that your energy is better spent elsewhere. Because in 2025, your peace deserves to come first. 2. Unnecessary goals and oversharing. In a world that celebrates productivity and public validation, it's easy to fall into the trap of setting goals that aren't truly meaningful or oversharing every step of your journey. But here's the thing. Not every goal aligns with your values, and not every detail of your life needs an audience. Letting go of unnecessary goals and the habit of oversharing is a powerful step toward reclaiming focus, clarity, and inner peace. Think about the goals you've set in the past. How many of them were driven by genuine desire, and how many were influenced by external pressures? Maybe you committed to learning a skill you didn't care about just because it seemed impressive. Or perhaps you set a fitness target because it felt like the right thing to do, not because it truly mattered to you. These kinds of goals often drain your energy without bringing fulfillment. The Stoics remind us to focus on what truly serves us. Marcus Aurelius said, "If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it." This wisdom can be applied to our goals. Ask yourself, is this goal rooted in my values, or is it a distraction? If it doesn't contribute to your personal growth or happiness, it might be time to let it go. Unnecessary goals can also create feelings of failure or inadequacy when they don't materialize, not because you're not capable, but because they were never meaningful to begin with. Freeing yourself from these expectations allows you to focus on what truly matters. Then there's the issue of oversharing. In today's digital age, it's tempting to share every milestone, decision, or plan with the world. But not everything needs to be broadcast. Oversharing can dilute the significance of your goals and expose you to unnecessary judgment or negativity. Instead, consider keeping some victories private. They're no less meaningful when celebrated quietly. Let's look at an example. Imagine you're working on a personal goal like starting a side business. Instead of announcing it to everyone before it's fully formed, keep it close. Use the quiet to focus, refine your plan, and build something meaningful without external pressure. Once it's ready, you can choose to share it, but on your own terms. Oversharing can also lead to burnout. When you constantly seek external validation for your efforts, you shift your focus from intrinsic motivation to pleasing others. The Stoics valued self-reliance and inner strength. Epictetus advised, "Don't explain your philosophy, embody it. Let your actions and results speak for themselves." Here's a practical exercise to streamline your goals. Write down all the things you're currently working toward. Then ask yourself, 1. Does this align with my core values? 2. Does this bring me joy or fulfillment? 3. Is this goal for me or for someone else's approval? Cross off any goals that don't pass this test. It's better to focus deeply on a few meaningful pursuits than to scatter your energy across too many. Similarly, reflect on your sharing habits. The next time you feel the urge to post or share a decision, pause and ask yourself, am I sharing this because it's meaningful or because I want validation? This simple question helps you act with intention rather than impulse. Eliminating unnecessary goals and oversharing doesn't mean you stop dreaming or connecting with others. It means you do so with purpose. By focusing on what truly matters and keeping some milestones private, you create space for deeper fulfillment and less external noise. So, as you prepare for 2025, remind yourself, I don't need to chase every goal or share every step. What matters most is what aligns with my values and brings me peace. Let go of the rest quietly and watch as your energy and focus soar. 3. Unhealthy relationships. Relationships are a cornerstone of our lives. They have the power to uplift us, offer support, and enrich our experiences. But when a relationship becomes unhealthy, it can drain our energy, erode our confidence, and weigh heavily on our emotional well-being. As difficult as it may seem, quietly letting go of relationships that no longer serve you is a vital step toward protecting your peace and growth. Unhealthy relationships come in many forms. It could be a romantic partner who belittles you, a friend who constantly takes without giving, or a family member who manipulates or controls you. These dynamics aren't always obvious at first, but over time, they create a cycle of negativity that holds you back from becoming your best self. The Stoics believed in the importance of surrounding yourself with people who align with your values and contribute positively to your life. Seneca wrote, "Associate with people who are likely to improve you." When a relationship consistently brings you stress, conflict, or unhappiness, it may be time to step away, not out of anger, but out of respect for your own well-being. Letting go of an unhealthy relationship doesn't mean blaming or attacking the other person. It's about recognizing that the dynamic no longer supports mutual respect, trust, or growth. Quietly stepping back allows you to heal and create space for healthier connections. Think of it as clearing a garden of weeds, not to punish the weeds, but to make room for flowers to thrive. Consider this example. Imagine you're in a friendship where you're always the one reaching out, offering help, or being supportive. But when you need the same in return, the friend is absent or dismissive. Over time, you realize that the relationship feels one-sided and leaves you drained. Instead of confronting the person with accusations, you can simply reduce your effort, spend less time and energy on the friendship, and focus on nurturing relationships that bring balance and joy. Ending an unhealthy relationship doesn't always require a dramatic exit. Sometimes, the quiet act of distancing yourself is the most peaceful and effective way to move forward. Start by setting boundaries, decline invitations, reduce communication, or limit your interactions. Over time, the relationship will naturally fade, giving you the freedom to focus on connections that align with your values. It's also important to reflect on your own patterns. Ask yourself, what am I tolerating in this relationship? Why have I allowed it to continue? This self-awareness helps you understand your role and empowers you to make healthier choices moving forward. For those struggling to let go due to guilt or obligation, remember this: protecting your peace isn't selfish. It's necessary. You can end a relationship with compassion, wishing the other person well while prioritizing your own mental and emotional health. As Epictetus advised, you cannot please everyone. Stay true to yourself. Here's a practical exercise. Take a piece of paper and draw 2 columns. On one side, list the positive aspects of a relationship. On the other, list the negative. If the negatives consistently outweigh the positives, it's a sign that the relationship may no longer be serving you. Use this clarity to guide your decision. Unhealthy relationships don't define your worth, and letting them go doesn't mean you failed. It means you're choosing to prioritize your growth and create space for relationships that truly nourish you. So, as you look toward 2025, pause and ask yourself, which relationships bring me joy and which ones weigh me down? Quietly let go of the ones that no longer serve you and watch as your peace and energy return. Because when you free yourself from unhealthy relationships, you open the door to deeper, more fulfilling connections. A fourth, reacting angrily in stressful situations. Stressful situations are inevitable: traffic jams, work deadlines, disagreements with loved ones. But how you respond to these moments can either fuel the fire or diffuse the tension. Reacting with anger might feel like a natural release, but it often creates more harm than good, both for you and those around you. The Stoics believed that mastering your emotions, especially anger, is a critical step toward inner peace and self-control. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This timeless wisdom reminds us that while we can't control the chaos around us, we can control how we react to it. Letting go of angry reactions isn't about suppressing your emotions. It's about choosing responses that align with your values and long-term goals. Imagine a situation where someone cuts you off in traffic. Your initial reaction might be anger, honking, yelling, or muttering under your breath. But what does that achieve? The other driver likely doesn't hear or care, and now your mood is ruined. Instead, you could take a deep breath and remind yourself that their actions don't have to dictate your emotions. By choosing calm over anger, you protect your peace. The same principle applies to workplace stress. Picture a tense meeting where a colleague challenges your ideas. Reacting with frustration or snapping back might escalate the conflict, damaging relationships and your reputation. Instead, pausing to listen and responding calmly not only diffuses the tension, but also demonstrates strength and professionalism. The Stoics practiced techniques to maintain composure under pressure. One effective method is the pause. When you feel anger rising, take a moment to breathe deeply and count to 5. This simple act creates space between the trigger and your reaction, allowing you to respond thoughtfully rather than impulsively. Another powerful tool is perspective. Ask yourself, will this matter in an hour, a day, or a week? Often, the things that ignite our anger are fleeting and insignificant in the grand scheme of life. Shifting your perspective helps you see the situation for what it is, a minor inconvenience rather than a catastrophe. Here's a practical exercise. The next time you feel anger bubbling up, write down the trigger and your initial reaction. Then, write an alternative response that aligns with your values. For example, trigger: a rude comment from a colleague. Initial reaction: snapping back or making a sarcastic remark. Alternative response: pausing, calmly addressing the issue, or choosing to let it go. This practice helps you build awareness and equips you to respond more effectively in the future. Letting go of angry reactions also improves your relationships. When you respond with calmness instead of anger, you create an atmosphere of trust and respect. For instance, in a heated argument with a partner, choosing to speak softly and listen instead of yelling can transform the conflict into a constructive conversation. Over time, this habit strengthens your connection and reduces unnecessary drama. The Stoics also believed in the power of empathy. Epictetus advised, Remember that it is not he who reviles or strikes you who insults you, but your opinion that these things are insulting. This means understanding that others' actions are often a reflection of their own struggles, not a personal attack on you. Approaching situations with empathy rather than anger helps you maintain perspective and control. Think of your emotions like a fire. Anger adds fuel, making it harder to extinguish. Calmness, on the other hand, is like water. It cools the situation, allowing clarity and resolution to emerge. So as you approach stressful situations, pause and remind yourself, I control my reaction, not the situation. By choosing calm over anger, you protect your peace, strengthen your relationships, and create a life of intentionality and self-mastery. Let 2025 be the year you reclaim your power over stress and embrace the strength of a composed mind. 5. Judgment and negativity toward others. We live in a world where it's easy to judge. A stranger's actions, a colleague's decisions, or even a friend's choices can trigger snap opinions and negative assumptions. But judgment and negativity don't just affect the people they're directed at. They also weigh heavily on your mind and soul. Letting go of judgment and replacing it with understanding and empathy is one of the most liberating steps you can take toward a more peaceful, positive life. The Stoics believed that harsh judgment often stems from a lack of understanding. Marcus Aurelius said, "Whenever you are about to find fault with someone, ask yourself the following question: what fault of mine most nearly resembles the one I am about to criticize?" This wisdom encourages us to turn inward before casting blame outward. When we reflect on our own imperfections, it becomes easier to approach others with compassion rather than criticism. Judging others often creates unnecessary conflict and disconnects us from meaningful relationships. Imagine a scenario where a friend cancels plans last minute. Your immediate reaction might be frustration, assuming they're careless or unreliable. But what if instead you paused and considered their perspective? Maybe they're overwhelmed or dealing with personal challenges they haven't shared. Replacing judgment with empathy not only preserves the relationship, but also fosters trust and understanding. Negativity toward others can also drain your own energy. Think about how much mental space is taken up by holding grudges, criticizing, or gossiping. These habits create a cycle of negativity that keeps you focused on what's wrong instead of what's right. By letting go of this mindset, you free up that energy to focus on your own growth and happiness. Consider this. What we judge in others often reflects something unresolved in ourselves. If you're quick to criticize someone for being late, it might stem from your own struggle with perfectionism or control. Recognizing this connection helps you shift your focus inward, turning judgment into an opportunity for self-awareness and growth. To break the habit of judgment, practice curiosity instead. When someone's actions bother you, ask yourself, why might they have acted this way? What factors could I be overlooking? This shift in perspective helps you approach situations with an open mind, reducing negativity and fostering understanding. Another powerful tool is gratitude. Instead of focusing on someone's flaws, take a moment to appreciate their strengths. For instance, if a co-worker's blunt communication style frustrates you, reflect on how their directness might contribute to efficiency or clarity in the workplace. This habit of finding the good in others not only improves your mindset, but also strengthens your relationships. Letting go of judgment doesn't mean ignoring harmful behavior or excusing mistreatment. It means addressing issues with empathy and constructive dialogue rather than criticism or blame. For example, if a family member's actions hurt you, approach the conversation with kindness. I feel hurt when this happens. Can we work on a better way to handle it together? This approach builds connection instead of conflict. The Stoics also taught that we should focus on improving ourselves rather than criticizing others. Epictetus advised, "Don't explain your philosophy, embody it." By living with integrity and kindness, you set an example for others and create a ripple effect of positivity. Here's a practical exercise. The next time you catch yourself judging someone, pause and ask yourself 3 questions. 1. Do I know the full story? 2. What might they be experiencing that I'm unaware of? 3. What can I learn about myself from this reaction? This practice not only reduces judgment, but also enhances your emotional intelligence and self-awareness. Think of judgment like carrying a heavy backpack. Each negative thought adds weight, making your journey harder than it needs to be. By letting go of judgment, you lighten your load, creating space for empathy, connection, and peace. As you move into 2025, remind yourself, I don't need to judge others to grow myself. I can replace negativity with understanding and create a life of compassion and clarity. Quietly eliminate judgment and negativity, and watch how much lighter and freer your mind and heart become. 6. The habit of comparing yourself to others. Comparison. It's a trap we all fall into at some point. Whether it's scrolling through social media, noticing a colleague's promotion, or hearing about a friend's latest accomplishment, it's easy to measure your life against someone else's. But here's the truth. Comparing yourself to others steals your joy, erodes your confidence, and distracts you from your own unique journey. Letting go of this habit is one of the most freeing and empowering changes you can make. The Stoics believed that true contentment comes from focusing inward, not outward. Epictetus said, "Wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants." This isn't just about material possessions, it's about desiring less of what others have and appreciating more of what you already possess. When you compare yourself to others, you're often comparing your behind the scenes to their highlight reel. Social media, for example, rarely shows the struggles, failures, or mundane moments of someone's life. Instead, you see carefully curated snapshots designed to impress. Measuring your life against these unrealistic portrayals is not only unfair, it's harmful. Imagine this scenario. You're scrolling through Instagram and see a post from a friend vacationing in an exotic location. Suddenly, your own life feels dull in comparison. But what you don't see in that photo are the sacrifices they made to afford the trip, the challenges they might be facing, or even the fact that their perfect vacation might not be as idyllic as it seems. By focusing on your own life instead of theirs, you free yourself from the unnecessary burden of comparison. The same applies in the workplace. Suppose a colleague gets a promotion and you immediately question your own worth. Instead of comparing your path to theirs, consider what you can learn from their success. Maybe they took on extra responsibilities or developed a skill that helped them advance. By focusing on self-improvement rather than comparison, you turn envy into motivation. Breaking the habit of comparison starts with gratitude. When you find yourself envying someone else's life, pause and reflect on what you're grateful for in your own. Gratitude shifts your perspective, helping you see the abundance in your life instead of focusing on what you lack. For example, instead of envying someone's career success, You might appreciate the flexibility or personal growth your current role offers. Another powerful tool is setting your own benchmarks for success. The Stoics emphasized focusing on what you can control. Marcus Aurelius advised, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Instead of measuring your progress against others, measure it against your own goals and values. Ask yourself, am I growing? Am I making progress toward what matters to me? These are the metrics that truly count. Here's a practical exercise. Each time you catch yourself comparing, write down 3 things you're proud of or grateful for in your life. For instance, your ability to stay resilient during tough times, a meaningful relationship you've built, a skill or talent you've worked hard to develop. By focusing on your own strengths, you shift the narrative from comparison to self-appreciation. Consider another perspective. Comparing yourself to others assumes there's one standard for success. But life isn't a competition. Your journey is unique, with its own timing, challenges, and rewards. The Stoics remind us that fulfillment comes from living in alignment with our values, not from chasing external validation. Think of comparison like running a race on a winding track. If you keep looking at the other lanes, you'll trip or lose your pace. But if you focus on your own path, you'll reach your finish line with confidence and clarity. As you move forward, remind yourself, their success doesn't diminish mine. My journey is mine alone. Letting go of comparison allows you to celebrate your own progress and enjoy the richness of your unique experiences. In 2025, choose to focus on your growth, your values, and your joy, because those are the only measures of success that truly matter. 7. Mindless scrolling and digital overload. In today's digital age, our phones, apps, and notifications are designed to keep us engaged, often far longer than we intend. Hours of mindless scrolling can pass in the blink of an eye, leaving us feeling drained, distracted, and disconnected from the world around us. The Stoics, who valued intentionality and presence, would remind us that reclaiming our focus from digital overload is essential for living a meaningful life. Seneca said, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it." This timeless wisdom resonates deeply in a world where we spend so much of our precious time swiping, tapping, and consuming endless content. Eliminating mindless scrolling isn't about abandoning technology. It's about using it purposefully and ensuring it enhances your life rather than controlling it. Consider this. How often have you reached for your phone to check a message, only to find yourself scrolling through social media 20 minutes later? This unintentional habit not only eats away at your time, but also floods your mind with unnecessary information, comparison, and distraction. Over time, it can create a sense of mental clutter that leaves you feeling restless and unfulfilled. The first step to eliminating mindless scrolling is awareness. Start by tracking how much time you spend on your phone each day. Most devices now have built-in tools to show your screen time. Use them to identify patterns. You might be surprised at how much of your day is consumed by apps or activities that add little value to your life. Once you're aware of the habit, set clear boundaries. For example, you could establish phone-free zones in your home, like the dining table or bedroom. Imagine starting your day not by scrolling through social media, but by enjoying a quiet moment with a cup of coffee or reflecting on your goals. These small shifts create space for intentionality and calm, Another powerful strategy is to curate your digital environment. Unfollow accounts that don't inspire or uplift you, and remove apps that tend to suck up your time without providing meaningful benefits. Replace these with tools that align with your values, like educational content, meditation apps, or platforms that support your personal growth. Think of a practical example. Someone who spends hours scrolling through Instagram at night might replace this habit with a more enriching activity, like reading a book, journaling, or practicing mindfulness. By consciously choosing how to spend their time, they not only reduce digital overload, but also create a sense of fulfillment and balance. The Stoics emphasized the importance of being present in the moment. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Confine yourself to the present." Mindless scrolling pulls you away from the present, trapping you in a cycle of distractions and comparisons. Breaking free from this habit allows you to engage fully with the people and experiences around you. Here's a practical exercise. Designate specific times during the day to check your phone and stick to those windows. For instance, you might decide to check social media only once in the morning and once in the evening. During the rest of the day, turn off non-essential notifications to minimize distractions. This practice helps you regain control over your time and focus. Eliminating digital overload isn't about going off the grid. It's about prioritizing what truly matters and using technology as a tool, not a trap. For example, instead of endlessly scrolling through videos, you could use that time to learn a new skill, connect with loved ones, or simply enjoy the peace of being offline. Think of mindless scrolling like junk food for your mind. It's easy, tempting, and satisfying in the moment, but too much leaves you feeling sluggish and unfulfilled. By cutting back on this habit, you create space for more nourishing activities that truly enrich your life. As you prepare for 2025, remind yourself, my time and attention are valuable. I choose to spend them intentionally. By eliminating mindless scrolling and digital overload, you reclaim your focus, presence, and peace of mind, paving the way for a more purposeful and fulfilling year ahead. 8. The need for approval. Seeking approval is a deeply ingrained human tendency. We crave validation from others, whether it's praise for our achievements, agreement with our decisions, or acknowledgement of our worth. But living for the approval of others is exhausting and unfulfilling. It shifts your focus from what truly matters to external opinions that are often fleeting and out of your control. Letting go of the need for approval is one of the most liberating habits you can adopt for a happier, more authentic life. The Stoics believed in living according to your values, not the judgments of others. Epictetus advised, "If you are ever tempted to look for outside approval, realize that you have compromised your integrity. Be satisfied instead to live according to your principles." This wisdom reminds us that true peace and confidence come from within, not from external validation. Consider this scenario. You're excited about pursuing a new career path that aligns with your passions. But when you share your plans, a friend or family member questions your decision, expressing doubt or disapproval. Suddenly, your excitement fades and you begin second-guessing yourself. This is the trap of approval seeking. It places someone else's opinion above your own conviction. To free yourself from this habit, start by recognizing that no one else lives your life. Only you truly understand your goals, values, and dreams. Seeking approval often means sacrificing your authenticity to please others, but the truth is, not everyone will agree with your choices, and that's okay. As Marcus Aurelius said, "It never ceases to amaze me. We all love ourselves more than other people, but care more about their opinion than our own." One powerful way to break free from the need for approval is to practice self-validation. Before seeking reassurance from others, pause and ask yourself, do I believe in this decision? Does it align with my values and goals? If the answer is yes, that's all the validation you need. Over time, this habit strengthens your self-trust and reduces your reliance on external opinions. Let's take a relatable example. Imagine someone hesitant to wear a bold outfit because they're worried about what others might think. Instead of seeking approval, they could remind themselves that their choices are an expression of their individuality. By wearing the outfit with confidence, they reclaim their power and celebrate their uniqueness. Another strategy is to set boundaries with those who tend to judge or criticize. You don't need to justify your choices to everyone. For instance, if a colleague questions your approach to a project, you can acknowledge their perspective while standing firm in your decision. "I appreciate your input, but I'm confident in this direction." This response shows respect without compromising your autonomy. The Stoics also emphasized the importance of focusing on what you can control. Seeking approval places your happiness in someone else's hands, but letting go of this need puts you back in control. Instead of worrying about whether others will agree with your choices, focus on doing your best and staying true to your principles. Here's a practical exercise to cultivate self-reliance. Each time you make a decision, take a moment to write down why it aligns with your values and goals. Reflect on how it contributes to your growth or happiness. This practice reinforces your confidence in your choices and reduces the urge to seek external validation. Think of the need for approval like a weight you carry. Every time you let someone else's opinion dictate your actions, you add to that weight. By letting go of this need, you lighten your load, allowing you to move through life with greater ease and freedom. As you approach 2025, remind yourself, I don't need everyone's approval to live my life authentically. By eliminating the need for validation, you reclaim your power, trust your instincts, and create space for a life that's truly your own. The freedom to live unapologetically is one of the greatest gifts you can give yourself. 9. Perfectionism that holds you back. Perfectionism might seem like a virtue on the surface, a commitment to excellence, an unwavering standard. But in reality, it often becomes a heavy burden, paralyzing you with fear of failure and robbing you of joy in the process. The Stoics understood that perfection is an illusion, and striving for it can hinder progress and growth. Letting go of perfectionism is not about settling for less. It's about embracing imperfection as a natural and necessary part of life. Seneca wisely said, "If you wish to be loved, love imperfections." This applies not only to how you view others, but also to how you view yourself. Perfectionism sets impossible expectations, making it difficult to appreciate your efforts or celebrate your accomplishments. It creates a cycle of dissatisfaction where nothing ever feels good enough. Imagine someone who wants to start a passion project, a blog, a painting, or a business idea. They spend weeks planning, researching, and tweaking, but they never launch because it's not perfect yet. Perfectionism in this case prevents action. The Stoics would advise, start where you are, with what you have, and improve as you go. Progress is always more valuable than perfection. Breaking free from perfectionism begins with reframing your mindset. Instead of aiming for flawlessness, focus on growth and effort. Ask yourself, am I improving? Am I learning? Am I taking steps toward my goals? These questions shift your focus from an unattainable ideal to meaningful progress. A practical strategy to combat perfectionism is to set realistic expectations. For example, if you're preparing a presentation, aim for clarity and impact rather than obsessing over every tiny detail. Remember, most people won't notice the minor imperfections you're fixating on. They'll remember the overall value you delivered. Another way to overcome perfectionism is to embrace mistakes as opportunities for growth. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one." This means focusing on action and improvement rather than obsessing over whether you're doing everything perfectly. Mistakes are not failures. They're stepping stones towards success. Let's look at a relatable example. A student who avoids participating in class discussions because they're afraid of giving the wrong answer. Their perfectionism prevents them from learning and growing. But by stepping out of their comfort zone and contributing even imperfectly, they build confidence and gain valuable insights. The Stoics also emphasized the importance of accepting what's beyond your control. Perfectionism often arises from trying to control outcomes or appearances, but life is inherently unpredictable. Epictetus said, "Make the best use of what is in your power and take the rest as it happens." By focusing on what you can control, your effort, attitude, and growth, you free yourself from the pressure to achieve impossible standards. Here's a practical exercise. At the end of each day, write down 3 things you accomplished, no matter how small. Instead of critiquing what you could have done better, celebrate your effort and progress. This habit helps you shift from a perfectionist mindset to one of gratitude and self-compassion. Think of perfectionism like trying to climb a mountain with a heavy backpack. The higher you go, the heavier the weight becomes, making it harder to enjoy the journey or appreciate the view. By letting go of perfectionism, you lighten your load, allowing yourself to move forward with freedom and purpose. As you prepare for 2025, remind yourself, progress, not perfection, is the goal. Letting go of perfectionism doesn't mean abandoning your standards. It means embracing the imperfections that make life real, meaningful, and rewarding. Trust in your ability to grow and adapt, and let go of the pressure to get everything just right. In doing so, you'll discover a deeper sense of fulfillment and freedom. 10. Unrealistic expectations. Life is full of surprises, some delightful, some challenging, but unrealistic expectations can rob us of the ability to enjoy the present moment and adapt to the unexpected. When you cling to rigid ideas of how things should be, you set yourself up for disappointment, frustration, and unnecessary stress. Letting go of unrealistic expectations is about embracing life as it is, not as you wish it to be, and finding peace in the process. The Stoics understood that our expectations often cause more suffering than reality itself. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This wisdom reminds us that while we can't control everything that happens, we can control how we perceive and respond to it. Unrealistic expectations often come from the desire for perfection, certainty, or control. For instance, expecting your day to go exactly as planned can leave you irritated by minor disruptions. A traffic jam, a delayed meeting, or an unexpected task. But life rarely unfolds perfectly, and clinging to unrealistic expectations only amplifies your stress. Instead, practicing flexibility allows you to adapt and move forward with ease. Consider a relationship where one partner expects the other to read their mind or meet every emotional need. These unspoken, unrealistic expectations often lead to misunderstandings and resentment. By communicating openly and adjusting expectations, both partners create space for growth, understanding, and a stronger connection. Letting go of unrealistic expectations doesn't mean giving up on your goals or standards. It means approaching them with realism and grace. For example, if you're learning a new skill, expecting to master it overnight sets you up for frustration. But by embracing the learning process and celebrating small milestones, you make progress more rewarding and sustainable. A practical strategy for managing expectations is to focus on effort rather than outcomes. Ask yourself, what can I control in this situation? What actions can I take to do my best? Shifting your focus from external results to internal effort helps you stay grounded and reduces the pressure to meet impossible standards. The Stoics also believed in embracing life's unpredictability. Seneca said, "A happy life is one which is in accordance with its own nature." This means accepting that life is inherently uncertain and imperfect. When you let go of the need for everything to align with your expectations, you create room for resilience and adaptability. Let's look at a relatable example. Imagine someone expecting their dream vacation to go flawlessly. Perfect weather, seamless travel, and constant fun. When things inevitably go wrong, a flight delay, rainy weather, they feel disappointed and frustrated. But by adjusting their expectations and focusing on the unique experiences the trip offers, they can still create meaningful memories despite the imperfections. Here's a simple exercise to practice letting go of unrealistic expectations. At the start of each day, write down one thing you're looking forward to and one way you'll handle potential challenges. For example, looking forward to spending quality time with family, handling challenges, staying calm if plans change unexpectedly. This habit helps you set positive intentions while remaining flexible, so you're prepared for whatever comes your way. Think of unrealistic expectations like a tightly clenched fist. The more you hold on, the more tension you create, leaving no room for the unexpected joys and lessons life can offer. By loosening your grip, you open yourself to the beauty of imperfection and the freedom of living fully in the present. As you move into 2025, remind yourself, I can't control everything, but I can control how I respond. Letting go of unrealistic expectations doesn't mean lowering your standards. It means embracing life's unpredictability with grace and curiosity. By releasing what you can't control, you create space for peace, resilience, and unexpected happiness. 11th, gossip and negativity in relationships. Gossip, it can feel harmless in the moment, a way to bond over shared opinions or vent frustrations. But gossip and negativity are like toxins in a relationship. They erode trust, breed resentment, and pull focus away from meaningful connections. Letting go of gossip and negativity isn't just about protecting others. It's about cultivating relationships built on respect, kindness, and authenticity. The Stoics valued integrity and believed in fostering harmony with others. Epictetus said, "Keep silence for the most part, or say only what is necessary, and in few words." This wisdom encourages us to think before we speak, ensuring our words add value rather than harm. Gossip often does the opposite. It spreads misinformation, fuels misunderstandings, and sows seeds of division. Consider a workplace scenario. A colleague shares a rumor about another team member, and you're tempted to join in. While it might feel satisfying in the moment, gossiping can damage trust, lower morale, and reflect poorly on your character. By choosing to steer the conversation in a positive direction or not engaging at all, you demonstrate integrity and protect the energy of your relationships. Gossip isn't just about what we say, it's also about what we consume. Listening to negativity or indulging in harmful conversations can leave you feeling drained or guilty. The Stoics remind us to focus on what's within our control, our own words, actions, and reactions. When you choose positivity over gossip, you contribute to an environment of respect and upliftment. Negativity in relationships goes beyond gossip. It includes constant complaints, criticism, or focusing on what's wrong rather than what's right. Imagine a friendship where every conversation centers on venting about others or highlighting flaws. Over time, this dynamic becomes exhausting and prevents genuine connection. By shifting the focus to shared joys, aspirations, or solutions, you can transform the relationship into something more fulfilling. Letting go of gossip and negativity doesn't mean ignoring problems or avoiding tough conversations. It means addressing issues constructively and directly, rather than spreading them behind someone's back. For example, if a conflict arises with a friend, approach them with honesty and kindness. I value our relationship, and I'd like to discuss something that's been on my mind. This approach fosters resolution and trust, rather than division. Here's a practical exercise to help eliminate gossip and negativity. The next time you're in a conversation, ask yourself 3 questions before speaking. 1. Is what I'm about to say true? 2. Is it kind? 3. Is it necessary? If the answer to any of these is no, reconsider your words. This habit not only reduces gossip, but also strengthens your relationships and builds your reputation as someone who speaks with intention. Think of gossip and negativity like clutter in a room. They take up space, create chaos, and make it harder to see the beauty and potential around you. By clearing them out, you make room for trust, positivity, and meaningful connections. Let's look at a practical example. Imagine a group of friends who often gossip about others when they meet. One member decides to shift the dynamic by steering conversations toward uplifting topics, sharing goals, celebrating each other's achievements, or discussing meaningful ideas. Over time, this change inspires the group to connect on a deeper, more positive level. The Stoics also believed in leading by example. Marcus Aurelius said, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be one." By choosing to rise above gossip and negativity, you become a source of positivity and integrity in your relationships. As you prepare for 2025, remind yourself, my words and energy have the power to build or break trust. Quietly eliminate gossip and negativity from your conversations and watch as your relationships transform into spaces of respect, support, and genuine connection. The choice to lift others up rather than tear them down is one of the most impactful changes you can make for yourself and those around you. As we step into 2025, let's remember that transformation doesn't always require adding more to our lives. Often, the most powerful changes come from quietly removing the things that no longer serve us. By eliminating toxic relationships, unhealthy habits, and negative patterns, we create space for growth, peace, and clarity. The 11 things we've discussed today aren't just suggestions, they're invitations to realign your life with your values and priorities. Each quiet elimination brings you closer to a lighter, freer, and more intentional version of yourself. It's not about perfection, but about progress. It's about choosing what nurtures your well-being over what drains it. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Use that power to shape your life deliberately, releasing what holds you back and embracing what moves you forward." So as you reflect on the year ahead, ask yourself, what can I let go of to create space for what truly matters? Quietly make those changes and watch as your energy, focus, and sense of purpose transform. Thank you for joining me in this journey. If these ideas resonated with you, take a moment to share your thoughts or let me know what you're letting go of before 2025. Together, let's make this the year we live lighter, freer, and with intention. Until next time, keep growing, stay strong, and take charge of your life. You've got this.